Today, I'm joined by Sasha Koff, Managing Director of the Cyber Readiness Institute, an organization that helps small to medium businesses build stronger cybersecurity practices, making sure that they have the resources that are available to more protect their organization and the work that they do. And recently, the reason we're talking today is CRI has been working with Replica Cyber to update how these organizations share really sensitive information with CRI, moving beyond emails and basic collaboration software to really having a fully integrated, secure data flow and workspace to collaborate within with Replica. And so we're going to talk about that, talk about how that strengthened the data protection profile of CRI, made their process faster, and just have a discussion around where CRI is going to help their organizations and help their partners. So, Sasha, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And thank you to you and your team because the tool has certainly helped us to, as they say, eat our own dog food in a really secure way. So thrilled to be with you.
Fantastic. So, to start, CRI is focused on small and medium businesses and global businesses and really giving them some practical advice, practical tools, practical things that they can put in place to strengthen their readiness. But you have a focus on human behavior, which I always resonate with that. Of I always focus on the activity, help the activities be more protected, more sustainable, and then you'll help the organization, you'll help your security posture. So with that, what drove you to say, okay, we need to do something different with our playbook process, the verification process? What was the impetus to that you needed to do something different than what you had been doing before?
Yeah, no, a great question. So first and foremost, right, the whole goal and our mission within the Cyber Readiness Institute is really to help strengthen global supply chains by improving the cyber readiness of these small and medium-sized businesses. And with the concept of us focusing on human behavior, which does not necessarily cost these organizations anything. And it does create a pathway for them to get a better appreciation of language and ultimately get to more of a technical savvy perspective. A lot of our impact really depends on trust.
Mm.
And so the opportunity for organizations to really be able to adopt and operationalize the CRI playbook, and in that construct of trust is how, if they're concerned and they're already coming to us, right, to learn about cybersecurity, they're probably concerned about the security of them being able to send documentation to us in terms of what is their most important data that they're trying to protect,
Right.
who are
Yeah.
the partners that they're going to for help, et cetera, right? So you can imagine with the intention of them trying to raise their own resiliency, the trust of do we actually have a way of ensuring that the data they're sharing with us is protected effectively, and that there really isn't a way for that information to potentially be seized, if I can use that word, and then used for nefarious purposes. So that's really what drove us to say, hey, we need to be doing something differently than having one of our staff members just getting on a video call or having people exchange stuff through email and hoping that stuff was being deleted. As I like to say, hope is not a strategy.
It
It's a
never is.
recipe for failure. And certainly nobody's trying to do anything nefarious. But how could we make this whole process more effective and more secure?
Right. And I mean, you started with trust as the core component of that. If you're not doing those things, if you can't have the person on the other side of that Zoom call or that other side of the internet uh, trusting that, oh no, I can verify that these things have been deleted. I can verify that this has been done. There is a solid process. You erode that trust from the beginning. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. So what does this new workflow look like? So you've had these previous collaboration and things you would do in emailing things around, which we've all done for most of our careers. But what does this new flow look like? What's the experience like for your customers, for you internally to CRI? Just tell me a little bit more about what are you doing differently now?
Yeah. So if you think about what was versus what is, in the former state, it was nonlinear. We would have conversations, people would send documents. We weren't sure if the document was the right version or not that we were looking at. They may have skipped a step in the process. So it tended to be a bit clunky, and a lot of iteration. So speed suffered, as well as security. And the whole point of this is to do it as easy as possible. Because if you're a smaller, medium-sized business, your focus is on cash flow. It's not on back office activities.
Right.
So the biggest change for us is twofold, right? Number one, it gives us an opportunity to make sure that the organization that is going through the verification with us knows exactly what documents need to be uploaded. We're not going back and forth in this linear setting, but we're able to set, here are the documents that you need to send us. We know with certainty that the version that's been uploaded is the version that the person that's going through the verification is actually looking at the right version, because there's only one version of that document that
Yeah.
is available to the user. And it doesn't rely on the back and forth of, did you get the document? Did you not get the document? The organization can actually see that it is ready, it's available, it's the right version. And then having our team member be able to go in knowing that everything is there, so they can also go through the review as quickly as possible. So it's not just saving time and resources on behalf of the organization that's submitting, but it's also saving time and resource capacity from the standpoint of the staff members that are going through the process on our side as well. So it's a double win in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's part of the kind of, as we look at what is the value proposition of anything that we do, is how can we cut out minutes or seconds in somebody's process or workflow? And if you can do that for both your customers and CRI, that's going to enable you. It's going to give you more capacity, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be able to help more of these organizations because there's thousands of them out there, right? In small
Yeah.
and medium sizes that you're trying to support.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that that's probably part of your metrics, is how can we increase the value that we're driving to this whole sector and community.
Exactly.
So, so if you were going to advise others, right? So CRI is a fantastic organization. You're backed by some of the biggest financial services players and other players in the planet. So you're clearly at a expertise. You have an expertise. What would you advise other leaders, other organizations in supply chain or other places about how to do this work differently? How do you have evolved to a new workflow, a new step? How would you advise others as they're on this journey?
Yeah. So you mentioned it, right? We're backed by some of the largest global corporations out there, Microsoft, T-Mobile, MasterCard, to name a few. And so when you think about the opportunity and the fact that CRI is a global facing organization, the opportunity to think about the landscape of the individuals that you're interfacing with, right? So for us, it was really important for us to make sure that we had a tool beyond it just being zero trust, but that gave us an opportunity to really work globally,
Mhm.
that it was allowing us to be able to support multilingual teams, the ability to have multiple, if needed, distributed reviewers, be able to access that information, potentially high volume, right, in terms of the type of information or the flow information that's coming through. While we only have a handful of documents that we're looking at right now, that doesn't mean that some of our organizations that we're partnering with might not want to continue to grow out what this verification process looks like in the future for their own internal controls, right? So the opportunity for us to have something that could really scale and not have to teach these small and medium-sized business users a whole nother tool, a whole nother process was also
Right.
really, we thought, an important aspect of it, and something for people to consider, because we do work on human behavior.
Uh-huh.
Right? We all know people don't like change. So the more simplistic we can make it, and the easier we can make it, the all the better. So I would narrow it down to kind of three big things, right? Ease of use. We've been able to prove that it's easy use out of
Yeah,
multiple
good.
players in multiple countries. Number two, the confidence that the data that's going in there is secure and it's only really available for the purpose and for the timeline that it really needs to be there, and that it's being able to be removed. And then this third construct, which is making sure that the folks that really do need to see it from a permission perspective, it's only that set of people. It's not anybody else. So those are the considerations that I would think about. And if you think about those considerations, quite frankly, it's not just about reviewing documents for security purposes. A lot of business processes fall into these categories of needing
Right.
those three things. So
Yeah, and even as have grown and grown the platform, we started out as a certified B Corp, right, or as a public benefit corporation with protecting our customers, protecting our life online. That's kind of our core. And so great that the confidence and the trust in what we've built. I'm glad that has come through in how you're implementing us and using us, because that was core to when we established the company years ago. But as we've developed the technology, one of the things that's been really interesting, you talk about this ease of sharing, right? This ease of, I can clearly see the permissions, who has access to what. These customers now, when they're putting information into Replica for you to view and see, they're not losing control of that information. You
yeah,
can't then email it to somebody else or do something else. It's contained within the platform. But you can decide, okay, well, we need this analyst to look at it. We need this other person to be able to look at it. And as that grows over time, those simple things of sharing those environments and sharing those replica environments, we never even thought were important. We built them
yeah.
as a feature that we thought, oh, this is basics. But it turned out that those basic things are something that people can't do in some of these other workflows and some of these other tools. So
Yeah.
it's exciting to hear that is a key feature of what you're using and why it
Yeah.
has value for you.
Yep.
All right. So, I mean, you even hit on our next question. You've seen increases in speed, increases in the ability to scale, access. And so, are you able to service more organizations now? Are you like what is the outlook for you for where are you going in 2026 and what are you going to be able to do?
Yeah, I mean, look, our intention is to cover every small and medium-sized business in the world.
Okay.
So yes, the
A
the the
bold,
goal,
bold
the goal
mission.
is growth because
Yeah.
the more secure and resilient they are, the more secure and resilient all of the global supply chains are around the world. And I think this is the beauty of the engagement is that we're not having to constantly spin up or scale up. We know that given our organizational size, roughly how many reviews we can do at a given period of time. So it's also given us the opportunity to ensure that we're not, if you will, overpaying for something that we're not using. And for any corporation that's used to using a service model, right? That's something that they hate. But this opportunity of really having the use of the technology over the period of time that's needed for the work that's getting done, and then being able to really manage that has been hugely beneficial to us. So it sped up our process, which means that yes, I actually can get through more reviews in a period of time. It means we're a nonprofit. The
Yeah.
donations and membership dues that are coming through from our corporations with a higher degree of confidence at this point, right, in terms of value for what we're paying for. And I think last but not least, right, this opportunity of really being able to support our constituent group, which is these small and medium-sized businesses, in terms of being able to turn around a verification and be able to give them their badge that then they can in fact use as they're having conversations with these larger global supply chain companies, that it's not just their word. They've had this independent reviewer, right, which helps them in terms of their own cash flow and their own viability. So I think it's a win-win-win all the way around for everybody that's been involved.
Yeah. And as I look at again the the global landscape of cybersecurity and how we've been spending so much more against cybersecurity and not really making changes. Like the breaches have increased, the cost of protecting against the breaches have increased. Where CRI fits in that space is just tremendous, right? You're offering these services out to the vast majority of these businesses, right? It's not the global, it's not the, well, you have these partners like MasterCard and others that are your backers. It is taking the rest of the world and making sure that they can up level and not have to overburden themselves. And I think that from a mission standpoint is just you couldn't be doing more, or you couldn't be in a better spot to really make a difference. So I really appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate the trust that you're bringing out, the trust that you have in us, and to be partner. And really just excited to continue our partnership in the next year, see where we can go. So thank you for chatting with me today, and just again being a partner in what's going on.
My pleasure.
And so if anybody out there is looking to strengthen your organization, if you're a small, medium business, please reach out to Sasha and Cyber Readiness Institute. Again, you can't find a better partner out there in the market. So Sasha, thank you again, and look forward to talking with you soon.
Sounds good.